It's mid-July in mid-Michigan, and that means it's Japanese beetle season. Japanese beetles will eat over 200 different species of plants, and some of our native plants are not immune. Some of the most popular things you might find Japanese beetles on are rose bushes, grapevines, elm trees, basswood trees. But we don't want to spray these things with pesticides because we're trying to attract pollinators, we're trying to attract butterflies, and those same pesticides that kill the beetles will kill those beneficial things. So Betty's going to share her technique for controlling Japanese beetles that's pesticide-free and yet very effective.
This is a pawpaw tree. It's a native Michigan tree that has a delicious fruit. Japanese beetles, of course, are insects, so they're cold-blooded. So the best time to deal with them is when they're cold. So that would be early morning or in the evening when it's cooled down. Then they will be slower moving.
You can see they have beautiful green thorax and copper-colored wing covers, which makes them very showy and easy to spot on your plants.
When you spot Japanese beetles on a plant, you make up a glass or a can of soapy water, and what you want to do is hold that underneath the leaf where you see the beetle, and then just tap, because their defensive maneuver is to drop down, and they'll drop right into the soapy water. That will kill them. When you get a nice jar full of Japanese beetles, and you just throw it out. No big deal.
The beetles tend to feed in groups. They'll put out a pheromone and attract their friends to join them. So you'll want to act early and get the first ones you see and continue catching them as the season progresses so that you don't end up with a large number. Now if you have a medium-sized tree or shrub where you can't quite reach all the branches, you can use the hook on your pole pruner or another type of grabber to reach up and shake the branches. In the early morning when the beetles are cold, they'll drop straight down to the ground. You can put a drop cloth on the ground and that will catch them. You can pick them up and put them into your soapy water and the problem's solved. Now on a full-size mature tree, there's no way you can reach the top of the branches, but most mature trees can take a certain amount of defoliation, and Japanese beetle numbers tend to go up and down throughout the years. So if a tree is defoliated one year, chances are it will not be the next year and it will still survive. At garden centers, you'll see traps for Japanese beetle control. Most experts recommend against buying those. They contain a pheromone that attracts beetles in. Often they'll attract more beetles to your yard than you had originally. So unless you have a very large yard and you can put that trap out on the back 40 where there aren't a lot of garden plants they're going to eat, it's really best to avoid those types of things. Now the other half of the Japanese beetle equation is the grubs that infest your lawn. That's the larval stage of the Japanese beetle. Now, there are pesticides you can put on your yard, but we're trying to avoid pesticide use because of the pollinators, the bees, and the butterflies we're trying to save. So MSU did some studies, and they found that if you mow your grass at 3.5 to 4 inches, that's higher than most people think to mow it, but the higher the leaf blades are on the grass, it means the more root system they can support. And so they can tolerate a little bit of grub feeding without it showing. Your neighbors will never know that you have a few grubs under there. And in the meantime, robins and other birds might find them delicious to eat. So that's one way to reduce your pesticide use and not have a grub problem. If you have a severe grub problem and you'd like to use a product to give you an edge, perhaps the best option is a biological control. One of these is Milky Spore. You can look that up online and get all the details, but it's a naturally occurring bacterium. It comes in a powder or granular. You apply that to your lawn. It takes a while for it to get established, but once it does, it gives the grubs a disease which knocks them down and reduces their numbers. Another option might be beneficial nematodes. These you apply to your lawn, they have to be watered in, and they will hunt down and kill grubs as well. So these are two types of biological control products which will help knock down grub numbers while keeping birds, bees, and butterflies safe. From Mary
and Betty,
thanks for watching, and look at the rest of our videos at wildoneslansing.org.